prepared to travel. I beseech you. Right away.
Tripper, go bottom. Rifle.
Complacency is so...
Dusty, are you back?
Yeah, I just got back. I just wanted to put on some clothes, you know. Alright.
Oh. Ooh.
Yes, prepared to travel. I shall end this feud. Right away.
We're missing one guy top.
How
And he's there.
after you.
Why are you autoing creeps? Yeah, deny all the creeps. Oh, my...
Complacency
Ow.
is so dull.
Alright, let's see what this can do.
Oh, cool.
Why?
Okay, there we go.
I never worry about action.
This guy is squishy as nuts.
Alright, stream, so
History is written by
Even tuna.
I'm gonna try and tell you a little bit about Armadon.
indeed.
As you all know,
Oh no!
we're gonna build him tanky, clearly.
Oh yay!
Gary builds, they're not so hot on him.
Degenerates.
I think Andrew's going to make this slaughter you.
Yeah.
Alright.
Exercise restraint. I
Take care.
beseech you.
Alright, now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna push this wave so we can get the creeps.
History is written by the victors.
Hopefully take off his health pod there.
Indeed.
I'm not gonna get that right now because we're greedy.
After you. How
Ah yeah, look at him.
Ow,
Look at him stay
shit.
back. Anyway, so we pushed the wave,
I never
made him make
worry
the
about
choice of whether he wants to get the rune or
Okay.
stay for some farm. He chose to stay for some farm, which is a fine choice, but allows us to get the DD. So we refill our mana, so we're gonna spray him some more
History
later.
is written by the victors.
I don't expect to kill him in this lane. Midas is
This guy always plays with.
fairly easy to lane against, to be honest, because of his really terrible attack speed and his projection speed, his projectile speed.
I
It's
shall end
just
this
terrible.
feud.
It's just awful.
Why?
I hate laning as Midas.
Oh, that dirty pest.
Unless you're against something you can really dominate. It's pretty hard, to be honest.
Complacency is so dull.
He went in the field.
This game is written by the victors. Right away. It's inevitable. I never worry about action. Degenerates.
Yeah.
Fine day. Right away.
Ah!
Anyway, so our first order of business this game is to
You black people.
build us a helm of the Black Legion.
Complacency is so
It's just very standard on Armadon.
Yep.
Going hood first
I think he's
is
gonna help Pablo.
inferior even against magic lineups, to be honest. I really dislike it. Hood being headdress again.
Okay, I don't think that guy has any more reason.
Let me just ignore my whole team like a good teammate here. Going helm? Ha!
I shall end this
Not anymore, now that he knows.
Complacency
Now we're gonna
is
go
so
heart.
dull. I beseech you. I never worry about action.
We don't have anything better to do with these illusions right now. We know where they are in lane.
It's inevitable. Why? Complacency is so dull.
You can see this guy somehow can hear us. I don't know how he does that. But it is a mystery.
Indeed, I never worry about action.
Here we are using the illusions to gain a few more CS.
History is written by the victors.
Midas looks like he's going back to base. So we're gonna alert our team. Hey team, Midas went back to base. He might try and gank you soon. Just a heads up. And we're gonna use our illusions some more. Ooh, no. Bad. We should be attacking the low one there, but we're clearly not gonna get it.
Never worry about action.
Because these guys are doing way too much damage.
How absurd. Complacency is so
Anyway.
dull.
Our rune ward went down, so we
I
have to
beseech
guess.
you. After you.
Did I seriously miss Naked Testy? Yeah, you
I
did.
shall end this feud.
It wasn't on camera though, so you didn't miss it.
Prepared to travel.
Enemy hero heading middle.
Ugh. So we're almost at our helm. We don't want to get ganked here. There's a blue person running around here. It's just in the cursed.
Right away.
It shouldn't do too much damage to us, so we should be fine. So long as He's not here as well. But he's top, so.
Degenerates. Prepared to travel.
This is actually a really good game to be Armadon in for their specific lineup. It's very hard for them to kill me.
Day.
Armadon kinda doesn't like it when there's just a pure hard carry that's refarmed in the game. My guess any hero doesn't like it, but
I shall end this.
Armadon wants things that he can absorb. I can absorb a lot of Midas damage, I can absorb all the BE damage and live and chase them down. The Accursed will actually be pretty annoying if he's just saving everyone, because it'll be hard for me to get kills as well. Midas is getting bottom rune.
I never worry about action. I shall end this feud.
Oh. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Excuse me. Right away. I shall end this feud. Why?
How we level up here doesn't really matter. In a dual lane where you're killing, you can go Snot and Spine Burst. But then when you're solo mid, it's actually really good to get your back leveled up. Unless you're get a good rune and you can go roam on somebody. But in this particular game, I don't think we're going to be roaming too much.
Yes. After
So
you.
now I feel like pretty safe no matter what they throw at me.
Fine day.
I don't know, they might surprise me and kill me, but I think they're going to need quite a bit.
Degenerates. Exercise restraint. Indeed.
It's always pretty good to get a mana battery on Armadon as well. You don't need it, especially since I have a bottle. I'll probably end up selling it fairly quickly, to be honest. But for all these early battles that might happen,
Yes.
right now they shouldn't be choosing battles over there.
This feud.
I don't know why they died in the same spot, but they did.
I never worry about action.
Could you not go down to their tower and fight them? Like that's where their tower is. Unless you're grouping up to push with me in front, you shouldn't be down there.
Prepared to travel.
So I guess that's probably
Fine
just a gank
day.
that went wrong by my team. 3-man gank, they got 4-manned or whatever.
It's inevitable. Complacency is so dull. Exercise restraint. Yes. Right away.
Alright, so here we farmed our core. They all have TPs on them, so that means that they can escape us if we go chase them down once we get Snot.
Prepared to travel.
But right now I'm still looking to push mid and put pressure there. One of the things about their lineup is they have Vindicator. Vindicator sucks at moving around the map. You should always use that to your advantage.
No!
Complacency is so dull.
Vindicator is almost always static farming a lane until it's push time where he
Dude,
groups
I'm so
up.
sorry. Wasn't paying attention.
Degenerates. Right away.
Ah,
Exercise.
I was keeping, but might have cancelled it. With the done.
Exercise.
Anyway, as we said, Accursed, we're not gonna kill him anytime soon. Shield keeps taking off the snow, the slow of Snot, so
Yes.
here's where we can, since we're pretty far ahead, we can actually, we're not gonna go after him because we're not gonna make it. The only thing we'd do right now is get baited.
Indeed.
So right now our item builds can,
Complacency is so.
this is where we should differentiate them a little bit on what we want to do. Do we want more AoE damage fast? Do we want more tankiness? What's our lineup look like?
Why?
Our lineup doesn't have a ton of damage, to be honest. Monarch and Flux aren't gonna add too much.
I shall
So, well, almost never build a Radiance. I might do it this game. You should get back, dude.
prepare to triumph.
Yeah, there's like,
Exercise
there's at least 4 people here.
exercise restraint.
I might have all 5, so... Right now, this is a time... They've gained an advantage already, but... This is a time where my team should be, They should really be trying to catch up right now.
Okay.
Because they spent 4 people middle there for, you know, a good wave or 2. They're all Roman top now, so you guys want to be careful. Now, almost always on Armadon, you'll notice that
I never work.
I almost never go Radiance because that makes you rather squishy. Even for an Armadon. In this particular game, I might be able to get away with it,
beseech you.
and it might actually help our team out a whole lot.
So dull.
But later on in the game, it's really not what you need. I've always found that you need to be the tankiest possible thing on the map so that you can benefit your team the most. That way they can get. That's one of the advantages.
Careful.
That's one of the advantages of having an Armadon on your team. Is if you have a tanky Armadon in front of your team, he can always set up your team's skills.
No!
The juice is loose.
Wish I would have my tablet for that. Let the monkey just walk in.
That's one of the worst things about playing Vindicator. You have no defense against anything.
Never pull Behemoth back, man. He's still at his ulti.
Anyway, so here I took quite a bit of damage diving for that.
Complacency is so
And I'm pretty sure they can kill me in their magic stuns. I think the best thing to do on Armadon most of the time is
indeed.
after you get your full headdress, you should go for a
Prepare to
heart.
travel.
Sometimes I switch it up and get a bulwark first, or start building a Dawnbringer, depending. It's hard to explain why to do it, but in the game you'll kind of have a feel of what's best. I do personally. In this particular game, I think it's best for me to build a heart and become fairly invincible.
Iridium Botnik.
Exercise restraint.
Yep.
Exercise restraint. Complacency is so
And with that,
dull.
their team, their Behemoth is going to be next to useless, their Midas is going to be next to useless. Their Vindicator, like all their heroes aren't going to have a lot of use in trying to kill me. But before that point, right here is where I should have a full headdress. Because I can still die here.
Exercise restraint.
It is rather difficult for them to kill me, but with all 5 of them, you know. We're gonna pop our haste, we're gonna see what kind of spells they're gonna use. They tried to block me off, they wasted 2 Midas spells. Watch out for B-heal. So, right there they missed quite a few skills for nothing. And we're still hasted, so that worked out. Yeah, that just worked out really well for us. So despite them gaining a pretty huge advantage over our team, they're not killing me anytime soon, clearly. And especially since I was getting really close to heart. So that's one of the dangers. Even though
History is written by the
they picked up a little kill lead, their heroes, I wasn't threatened by them at all. And thus Vindicator was really big. Like he had to have been free farmed and have a sheep stick by now. If he had like straight steam boots sheep stick from free farming bottom lane, then he'd be a problem. But in this case, he wasn't really a problem at all. So because yeah, he's got 44 CS total. Because in this game the creep denies adds to your CK at the end of the game. So I had 133 and 6, and he had 44 and 6, but you know, he's part of a dual lane that's more action oriented, where he's actually fighting for kills, and I was just free farming mid because Midas is very weak. Had I been against an Arachna or a Succubus, I wouldn't be free farming mid at all. I would be begging for ganks is what I'd be doing. But against a Succubus, I probably wouldn't be able to kill her anyway with Armadon. So unless we got a good try gank on her, you know, one person from each side, so then she can't sleep and heal and run. But yeah, so normally if you go Radiance on Armadon, usually it's just kind of an early game for fun thing. The faster you get it, the better, clearly. But generally, I do prefer Steam Boots or Armor Boots with Helm of the Black Legion. You probably want your full headdress so that you can get into all the fights. You want a mana battery. You're gonna sell it very soon, though, unfortunately. You don't need a bottle, but when I'm going mid, I should have a bottle. So, and then you generally want to either build a Bulwark, a Heart, or a Dawnbringer in whatever order you feel is best for that particular game. If you don't think you're going to get a Heart and you need the Bulwark for a lot of early action team fights, that's fine. You should do that after your Helm of the Black Legion and your headdress. I wouldn't recommend getting it before that unless they have like all physical damage, and then you could totally do that. But in most games, I find that they have a good mix of magic and physical, and you wanna finish that headdress. But in this particular game, I was gonna go Heart after Vestments because I thought it was pretty safe. Their lineup, it's not a very strong combo. It's not something to be really scared of. It's just kind of an AR lineup, right? They kind of have to work with what they got, so. But that's something I touched on earlier in the game. I'm not sure if I explained this fully, but one of the reasons when you pick Armadon, it's the same reason why you pick Zephyr to an extent. They're very different. Zephyr is a much faster farmer and hits mid-game carry much faster, but you pick them for different reasons. Armadon is great for kiting another melee carry around as well. Pestilence and stuff, even though Pestilence would normally go BKB, all the melee carries generally need a BKB right away against Armadon, or else he can take them out of the fight pretty well. With the exception of like Mage Bane and whatnot. But let's see. The reason why you normally pick them is to also set up a really great team fight for your team. Like getting some early farm on him, then you can actually start pushing action around the map. And if they don't have a lineup that out carries him, you don't necessarily have to. So you have a choice of power there, whether you want to take early fights or not. But if for any reason they all go on Armadon because they think he's out of position, or you can bait it, most of the time they won't take the bait if they're smart. But sometimes even top players will still think the team is low or out of position or whatever, and they're like, get the Armadon before they come, right? And they all go on him, and then suddenly they're in a 5-man Tempest ult because it took them so long to kill Armadon. So there's a lot of things like that where Armadon and Zephyr come in handy. They help set up things like Tempest and whatnot, and Behemoth and all that stuff. Let's see.
Blacksmith. Legionnaire. Let's get it on.